Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video and were able to take notes on this worksheet. Now the next thing will be to answer these questions from your experience of the video. Why does Obama introduce himself to the nation in this way? Why does he choose these stories and not others? What challenge, choice, and outcome are at the core of each story he tells? What details, images, and moments do these stories bring alive? What values do these stories communicate? Take the time to think about that and respond to that. You can pause the video. I will continue. So this is a worksheet on developing your story of self. Before you decide what part of your story to tell, think about these questions. Why am I called to leadership within my community? What is my purpose in calling others to join me in action? What will I be calling on them to do? What values move me to act? How might they inspire others to similar action? What stories can I tell from my own life about specific people or events that would show rather than tell how I learned or acted on these values? What are the experiences in your life that have shaped the values that call you to leadership in this campaign? Family and childhood. The parents, the family, your growing up experiences, your community, role models, your school. Life choices, school, career, partner, family, hobbies, interests, talents, experiences, finding passion, experiences, overcoming challenge. Organizing experience, first experience of organizing, connection to key books or people or role models. Think about the challenge, choice, and outcome in your story. The outcome might be what you learned in addition to what happened. Try drawing pictures here instead of words. Powerful stories leave your listeners with images in their mind that shape their understanding of you and your calling. Remember, articulating the decisions you make in the face of challenges is what ultimately communicates your values. Worksheet. Take a few moments with your eyes closed to reflect on your life, thinking of it as a timeline stretching from birth to where you are now. Identify 1 or 2 points on that timeline you would like to use as a life experience for your story of self, keeping in mind all of the information that was just shared. Again, you can pause the video for a few moments while you do this activity, and then we'll pick up again. Just continue the video when you're finished. Here's a worksheet for the story of self where you can deal with the challenge, the choice, and the outcome, and perhaps have more than one story to think about. For further reflection, we all live very rich and complex lives with many challenges, many choices, and many outcomes of both failure and success. That means we can never tell our whole life story in 2 or 3 minutes. The challenge is to learn to interpret our life stories as a practice so that we can teach others based on reflection and interpretation of our own experiences and choose stories to tell from our own lives based on what's happened in each unique situation. Take time to reflect on your own public story, beginning with your story of self. You may go back as far as your parents or grandparents, or you may start with your most recent work and keep asking yourself why you got involved when you did. Focus on the challenges you had to face, the choices you made about how to deal with those challenges, and the satisfactions or frustration you experienced. Why did you make those choices? Why did you do this and not that? Keep asking yourself why. What did you learn from reflecting on these moments of challenge, choice, and outcome? How do they feel? Will they teach you anything about yourself, about your family, about your peers, your community, your nation, your world around you, about what really matters to you? What about these stories was so intriguing? What elements offered real perspective into your own life? What brings you to service? When did you decide to work on improving education, for instance? Why? When did you decide to volunteer? Why? When did you decide to give up a weekend to come to this workshop? Many of us active in public leadership have stories of both loss and hope. If we did not have stories of loss, we would not understand that loss is a part of the world. We would have no reason to try to fix it. But we also have stories of hope. Otherwise, we wouldn't be trying to fix it. A good public story is drawn from the series of choice points that the structure of the plot of your life and the challenges you faced, the choices you made, and the outcomes you experienced. The challenge, why did you feel it was a challenge? What was so challenging about it? Why was it your challenge? Choice, why did you make the choice that you did? Where did you get the courage or not? Where did you get the hope or not? How did it feel? The outcome, how did the outcome feel? Why did it feel that way? What did it teach you? Would you want to teach us? What do you want to teach us? How do you want us to feel? Coaching tips for the story of self as you're helping other people with their stories. Remember to balance both positive and constructive critical feedback. The purpose of coaching is to listen to the way stories are told and think of ways that the storytelling could be improved. Don't simply offer vague, feel-good comments. That was a really great story. Do coach each other on the following points. The challenge. What were the specific challenges the storyteller faced? Did the storyteller paint a vivid picture of those challenges? When you described blank, I got a clear picture of the challenge. I understood the challenge to be blank. Is that what you intended? The challenge wasn't clear. How would you describe blank? The choice. Was there a clear choice that was made in response to each challenge? How did the choice make you feel? Hopeful? Angry? To me, the choice you made was blank, and it made me feel blank. It would be helpful if you focused on the moment you made a choice. More coaching tips. The outcome. What was the specific outcome that resulted from each choice? What does that outcome teach us? I understood the outcome to be blank, and it teaches me blank. But how does it relate to your work now? The values. Could you identify what this person's values are and where they came from? How? How did the story make you feel? Your story made me feel blank because blank. It's clear from your story that you value blank, but it could be even clearer if you told a story about where that value comes from. Details. Were there sections of the story that had especially good ideas or images, for example, sights, sounds, smells, or emotions of the moment? The image of blank really helps me identify with what you were feeling. Try telling more details about blank so we can imagine what you were experiencing. The team breakout session, the story of self practice work. Goals. Practice telling your story of self and get constructive feedback. Learn to draw out and coach the story of others. The agenda. Total time is 47 minutes for groups of 5 people. Gather in your team, choose a timekeeper, and set norms. That's about 2 minutes. Your facilitator will share his or her 3-minute story of self as an example. Take some time as individuals to silently develop your story of self using the worksheet shared earlier. Take 10 minutes to do that. And now you've used about 15 minutes so far. As a team, go around the group and tell your story one by one. For each person will have 3 minutes to tell their story and 3 minutes to get feedback from the group. So use the worksheet below to write down your feedback. So everybody gets 6 minutes, and 3 of it is going to be for feedback. Note that you just have 3 minutes to tell your story. Stick to this limit. Make sure your timekeeper cuts you off. This encourages focus and makes sure everyone has a chance to tell their story. Rejoin the large group. That gives you a total of 2 minutes to do that. Total time is 6 minutes per person plus the 15 minutes earlier plus 2 minutes to recover. Total is 47 minutes for 5 people or groups of 5 people. Record feedback comments from your team members here.